But yeah, it's Call of Duty weekend, isn't it?
Fuck yeah, it
Yeah.
is. One day,
You're
1 week
also
election.
having a little Call of Duty party.
Yes, fine. Call of Duty boys. Some might
That's
say
so
that that
sad.
is the perfect weekend.
That is so sad. That
Yeah,
name
that
one
is
thing in
really
life better than that.
What the wine boys?
wine.
Call of Duty boys.
All right, it's the Call of Duty. The fact that that's a firelight, really.
See, look, it's a trifecta, Tess. You're allowed to pick two of the three, okay? One's got to go, but you can't have all three. And in our instance, in this instance, we've got all three. Actually, four, because I'm watching it at the same time. Have you seen anything about this new the Copilot builder yet, Kunj?
No.
They Microsoft have released it, Copilot, so you can now go to Copilot and it will build you an app, and it's like it's GA, and the
You
maybe
talk about
controversially.
generative pages or
No, this is like
Copilot.
specific building you a Canvas app. Now you can go in, but it's using SharePoint. It creates SharePoint sites and SharePoint lists as the database. So it's I don't know how I feel. I don't
But
like the.
They've gone GA on generative pages, which was always going to happen. Yeah, but
Is
it's
it
just in
ready?
the US region, which is really unfortunate with some of the projects that we have. So we're thinking of at least spinning up a couple of sandboxes in the US just to play around with it.
I
Just
think
play
our
around
dev
with it.
tenant might be aligned to the US region and also subscribe to new updates. So use that maybe.
That is for me. I mean, that is going to be the coolest thing ever. It's a merging of two worlds, and I've never really.
Is it ready though?
There were limitations. I don't know if that was still in beta, but you weren't able to create an update prompt off the back of it. But now you can save it, you can update it, so you can keep coming back to it. So say you wanted a timesheeting app, before it'd be like just one prompt and you're done. You can't make any changes, but now you can.
Can you explain that to me in English?
In English,
A tomato.
Yes.
And you're talking to a tomato.
No, I'm a
Tomato.
peach.
Tomato. Oh, you're a peach. That's a peach.
Yeah,
Nice.
a
That's not
pretty
correct.
raw tomato. If I was a tomato.
So there's Canvas apps that Tom is an obvious and clear wizard at are quite UI driven, so user interface. So people will drag and drop fields
Right.
how they want it to look. Now you've seen behind those fields to make it do something. You've got to give it expressions. You've got to tell it what to do. So when I click on this, make this field visible or update this field with a value, right? I don't know if you've got that far yet with her, Tom. We can drag some fields onto a Canvas app, a Power App, and have it do something on click of a button.
Right.
That is someone having to do it manually. So you have to drag a field into a section of the form. You've got to tell it what to do.
Yeah.
Parallel to that, I think over the last 12 months, there's been a huge surge in like Copilot being able to code things for us. So we use it quite efficiently internally, where rather than writing a code or a plugin out or JavaScript, you can describe what you want and it will give you very good output. Now, it depends on your prompt, but they are getting better and better. So things like Codex by ChatGPT, Copilot. For code generation, I use Claude. Now, depending on the need, so if you're creating a website with more UI components, there's things like Lovable, which is an agent. You can use Claude, you can use Codex. So most of them are fairly good.
So I tried Claude the other day, Kunj, I made it go because it's really good at doing mock-ups. So if I go in and I ask it to do me a mock-up of a running app, let's use Tess's scenario, and it will do a really good HTML mockup, which is perfect. But then I was like, I'm curious as to the ability then to change it from that into YAML, take it directly as a copy and paste. So I took out the full code screen of a canvas, so it's got all of the component names and all of the code actions, and then made it write a full YAML screen. And I was hopeful. I was really, really, really hopeful. Yeah. I thought that would be it. I thought I don't need to work anymore. My job's done. I'm obsolete, but it didn't work.
Well, that's why I think generative pages is gonna make you somewhat obsolete in a way, where you've got Canvas apps, which are really close to.
Like I have yet to see. I've actually not even yet tried generative pages, and I should. Has anyone done a demo on our Friday team call yet?
No, because most of our environments seem to be in the and also when it's GA, there were some issues with it, but I think when it was in preview, there were issues, but now it's in kind of GA. I think it is gonna take. And I said to the guys previously, and anyone I speak to, is low code is more of a trend. It's not technology. You want to align yourself to a technology like React, like plugins, like C# developments, because then you can at least move with the times. And Tess is probably sitting there thinking, why is this even a talking point? Kind of
Nice.
probably the best example I can give is like IKEA. So Tess, I can go to IKEA and get a cupboard for my new house.
Right.
It'll be kind of cookie cutted out. There'll be panels, there'll be instructions. I'm not a carpenter, but I can do it. It'll solve the need.
Yeah.
I can get a wardrobe, I can get a TV unit into my house. Will it be the most fancy and sturdy piece of thing that will handle a lot of weight? No, but it's something that fits the need. Now, once you've got that, and if you want to do something more with it, you're going to have to go to a carpenter. It's not made to be heavy. It's made to be quick, made so that someone who's not a carpenter can fit a cupboard or a unit. And that's what I see Canvas apps as. But they are now moving to AI, being able to create those pages for you. And
How
that's
much
where
time
I
will
think
that take?
super huge. I mean, just imagine sitting there and dragging fields and worrying about the user
Do you mean
interface.
how much time will it take till it swaps over, Tess, or do you mean how much time will it take?
No, how much time will it save, like,
Oh, right.
when you're
Yeah.
using Canvas
Well,
apps?
it's more than the time it will save, because, and this, like, I'm a cynic in this instance, because we get a lot of emails into Power 365 about graduates coming through, and Microsoft did this reskilling program of bringing them over.
Yeah.
The second part that we forget, in the sense of, if Tess, you could now go quite literally into office.com, Copilot, or copilot.office.com, or whatever the link is, microsoft.com, and type in, I need a running app. I mean, it's not the best of scenario because it would be business based, but I need an OpEx app, which is a real scenario that we've got with Maddie at the moment. She needs an OpEx app, and I need it to allow me to track in specific OpEx requests and align it to specific section budgets that I've already set. Let's say you spend half an hour writing that out in a brief for Copilot, and off it goes, and an hour later you've got an OpEx app. The second, which is great. So the time that it's saved building it, that OpEx app in this instance probably would take 2 days to build, maybe. If we're building it internally and we don't need to worry about all of the classic app development stuff, let's say it takes 2 days. And then inside that, so we've saved 2 days building it, and we've saved all of the time that Maddie would have then had going through emails and registering it against budgets and blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's not perfect, but maybe it's 80% there, and the 80-20 rule comes in.
Yeah.
However, the secondary part that we always forget in these scenarios is that's great, and the business can now run, but it divides into two subcontainers. The first subcontainer is, if everyone can go and do that now, what can they really access, and how fast how much is the business secure? How much of the data is secure when somebody's doing that? So going in now and doing it, if you were to literally go and build your running app with Copilot, all of a sudden you've now got a SharePoint site that's open to everybody. You've not placed in any security controls because you wouldn't think to put a security control in. I've got a friend recently that's doing it, and he didn't even know that your API keys were public. So he's built some Chrome extension that connects into his HubSpot using Claude, which is great, and it's a phenomenal bit of kit, and it's saving him hours and hours a week. But because he doesn't know that what an API key is, he doesn't then think, oh, I need to make sure my API key is secure. Just like all of these people with API keys and GitHub now for GPT. So the first part there is, then you've got this app, which is running app. So you build this running app. It's done it for you. It took half an hour. It looks great. It's functional. But all of a sudden, you've got a SharePoint site that's got no security around it. And everyone in the business now can see all of your runs, when you're running, who you're running with. And if it does turn into a dating profile, they can see all of that. And now all of a sudden, maybe you've got a sensitive scenario here where someone's stalking you on your runs because you've not considered what the security aspect would be behind the database. So that's like subpart A. And then subpart B is, what happens to all of those people in the industry at the moment that would have taken 5 to 10 days to build that for you and consulted you as a business? Like, what does their career now look like? We're creating ourselves, maybe that's where I'm a cynic, I'm waffling, but we're creating ourselves like so Kunj, you're right in sense of what do you push yourself towards, and React and .NET or React and newer technologies are probably where people need to be looking. But we are very quickly putting ourselves in a position where people are going to be out of jobs.
Yeah. It's that adage of, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, with great power comes great responsibility. I think these co-pilots and language models that will allow you to generate code, they're moving so fast that organizations just can't, they don't know
I saw a debate about
where
it
the
earlier.
leaks are. That's
I
where
was reading it
COE
this
sometimes
morning,
helps for us.
and it's they're calling it the next space race. I cut you there, but they're calling it the next space race, right? And they're saying it's the US versus. I may be going very controversial here. But I was online reading. These are not my own opinions. And I was online reading around how it's the next space race. And if we think about the space race back in 1969, like the benefit of the economy that would have been gained from maybe winning said space race, depending on which side of the fence that you sit on for winning
Yeah.
said space race, is huge. And at the moment, there's an AI race. It's exactly the same scenario. And all of these countries are in short, trying to win it. But what's the sacrifice? Like what comes out the other end?
Yeah. There's a lot of those that the stuff in Azure is fairly secure, but when we're going off into like countries like say China or who knows where a Copilot variant is sending their data off to, right? But not even just internally. Imagine so Tess is running app. Someone's now amended it because it's internal. That's now leaking onto social media. Say
Yeah.
Tess always runs near Manchester Canals at 6 p.m. That's where you can find her. I mean, it's
All of a sudden, there's a cucumber at Manchester Canal at 6 p.m.
there's a lot of people waiting, and they definitely do not look like runners to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like cucumbers.
Why do they have a hoodie on? They're not made for running.
Yeah. Where do
Is
like
that-
Tess? Question to you then, because like me and Kunj come at this from a different perspective, right? Because
Yeah.
we see it every day. We're replying it every day. Our LinkedIn feeds, now our news feeds. This is what our algorithm shows us. But from a position of where you sit, maybe then given those perspectives of how does it digress into jobs in the future? Is it the right thing to be pushing into? Like now you've maybe, I'm not saying within 15 minutes will have changed your mind, but like what's your take on how quickly we're running at this?
I think it's pretty scary. Like I haven't looked at it from, I guess, a tech perspective, like taking people's jobs by it can just literally build an app in a day. I know that ChatGPT has had to stop giving legal advice and financial advice
Yeah,
recently. And I feel like I think there was like a sweet spot and we're now at like diminishing marginal returns where it's going to get to the point where it's not proving any good. So for example, if hundreds of people lose their jobs because of AI and we've got apps that maybe aren't as secure, but these people have also lost their jobs. I think education wise, we're going to have a lower education rate generally, higher unemployment rate, and maybe lower quality products as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I maybe set
go on.
myself up to never being invited onto a podcast again. But if your job's at risk because of AI, was it really a job in the first place?
I mean, it's a great question, actually. It is because it goes further than tech, right? It now goes, and again, I'm going to be controversial here too, but Tess, like it crosses your world, right? Every single world that could be out there, and it all of a sudden then I do that, and that's the worrying. I agree with you, Kunjan, in tech. I agree that if AI is going to replace you within the tech world, then no, you haven't got the skill set to be able to move it forward. I do see that 100% because it should be a tool for your toolkit, but you should have other skills like
Yes, exactly.
consultancy,
Yeah.
where you do have the confidence and you have the ability to identify the future roadmap, taking all the variables. That's where, as a consultancy house and a professional services house, that's where we add benefit. Anybody should be able to go in and have something written for them in whatever array of GPT tools or AI tools that you've got. However, the tech space is a different argument because it's not that one that worries me the most. The one that worries me the most is everything else.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not going to take a hairdresser's role just yet, right? I mean, it's probably on its way, but it's not going to take it. But even down to, I saw an advert come up on my socials recently about investing in, and this is like, I'm going really, really small fry here, but investing in a car wash now, which you can buy for £10,000, and that's hard off cost. You can get it from China, you can get it shipped over, and it's a car wash that now needs no supervision whatsoever, better than the ones that have been around for ages. So all of a sudden, actually, you don't even need the person to monitor the car wash anymore. However, I suppose what we then create is we create the people that need to be able to monitor these kinds of things. But every single job that is the kind of lower paid jobs that are at risk of this, where do all of those people go?
Yeah, it's mad. I'm thinking like people like copywriters, people like graphic designers.
Yeah,
I've been,
designers,
you guys know I've been playing around with Grok to generate kind of humorous short clips. That they look fairly good, and that you'd probably shift off to someone to take 2 days and cost you an arm and a leg. So anything visual like that doesn't have any physical, tangible element to it, I think
Research.
I do think that, as for example, copyright perspective, if I put into GPT to write a blog, for example, the ones we've got about the leadership, that came from GPT, but I then spent an hour reconfiguring it. I think if you're good at your job, you can use it to like a tool in my toolbox. It saves me a lot of time to get the basics, but you're not good enough if you just put that out there. And then that goes back to if you are good at your job, in my industry at least, I think that it shouldn't take your job if you're good enough.
No, Trey, it goes back to what we use it as well for, Tom. Like if we're gonna use generative pages or Claude or Lovable or Codex to generate an app, you can't just take that for face value and deploy that somewhere.
Yeah.
What are the security considerations? Does it fit in line with company policies? That's something you need to think about as a human. So it's a tool rather than something that's going to replace us. Yes, we use it daily to supplement our work, to speed up our development, to get to the bits in a project that we need to think about, like security, like governance, like auditability. But like I said, I do worry about jobs that don't have that element and they can just replace. Like, wow, we can create books now. We can create books off ChatGPT and sell them on Amazon.
I think the scariest thing for me is the younger generation. So like school and uni, like, I just missed it at university, but knowing that that's there to write a dissertation.
That's mad. I don't know how they navigate
crazy.
that.
And
I generally don't know how
think it's going to really affect education rates. Like I know in school you get taught, but when it comes to homework, essays and coursework, I don't think there's going to be much thought. And I know that it could be flagged as copyright, but a lot of the time it misses on that. And I think it's going to massively affect education rates and also drive. Like I think it's going to create a lot of laziness.
There was something that somebody did recently. This came on LinkedIn, and it was the tutor had found all of the students had used GPT. So they came back to the students and said, I want an apology letter. Write me an apology letter as to why, the classic old thing that you used to do in school. Go and write me a note as to why you did that wrong. And then what they'd done, all the students had then used GPT to write an apology letter. And what people don't realize is it's so like double spaces after full stops, for example. If you get a paragraph, there's a double space after a full stop when GPT writes it. Nobody knows that. But if you then click through a Word doc and you click after a full stop because it's paragraphed, you'll be taken 2 spaces forward. Like all of these little pickup things people aren't identifying. And yeah, reliance is becoming too way.
It is mad. Again, exhibit number 2, while I'll never be invited back onto this podcast, is I don't know if it's also a generational thing. I'm back in the day when I was at university doing research, sitting in the library with books in front of you and trying to find and piece together information was part of the reason why you went to university. You don't go to
100%.
I never went to university to learn how to program, but I went to university how to think about how systems, their practices, and how to put that into effect. We didn't get taught how to program in C#. That comes afterwards. But the thought processes around it, how you design things, is what you research and practice. But nowadays, people aren't going through. It just feels like people aren't going through the hard graft and getting that information burnt into the back of their eyelids.
I think
it's all quick.
It's like dopamine hits, and people just want that quicker. So I think you get a bigger dopamine hit from actually figuring something out yourself. Like I could, when it comes to developing this app, for example, I could put it into ChatGPT or Copilot and say, code this to me, and I can go to Tom and say, look what I've taught myself. And I've actually not done everything. But I'm going to get a bigger dopamine hit from actually working hard and getting there in the end. I think that comes from like attention spans. I think it all feeds into one, but things like TikTok, like a 10-second video. People don't have the patience anymore to put the graft in to learn something or watch a 10-minute video instead of a 10-second video. People don't have that patience.
Everyone wants something quick. Now, say if you're in the market, if you're looking for a job, and you're in the market with someone's similar and you said, yeah, I'll write it out by hand. It's going to take me 2 days. Someone will say, yeah, I can get it done in 5 minutes. It'll be at your desk, cheaper. I mean, for a client, it's a no-brainer. You're squeezing out people are doing the hard work over something that isn't even generated using someone's thought, and he's using Copilot.
Have you seen this, partially related, but have you seen, I don't know how new it is, I'm going to presume fairly new, but skills.google?
No. What's that?
So essentially now Google have released this thing that you can pretty much learn any AI/coding thing. They've got a whole portfolio now of learning paths and coding catalogs and stuff.
I think it's like when you're a kid, you always talk about is it Icarus, like the boy flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going now. Like I think there was a point, a sweet spot where it was aiding people and helping people. But I think we've taken it too far now.
I did read a quote I think it was only 2 days ago, where someone said it is going to burst very soon.
Yeah, the Big Short guy's bet against it, hasn't he? Seen all this
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah. I mean, apparently,
What
if you read it, phenomenal movie. If you read into Christian Bale is the best.
He's
Not taking any, it's no votes. It's just decided. But if you read into it a little bit more, like there's loads of people posting at the moment saying, "Oh, he's bet against Nvidia and he's bet against Palantir and stuff."
Did it again?
Yeah, he shorted it. But then, like, read again if you keep digging, as people should in this new AI based content era. Apparently, he's done it loads of times. Like he's said this is going to happen hundreds of times. He's just had one right one previously. It's not unknown that he shorts to this scale. But yeah. Crazy.
But there will be a leveler at some point, and what that leveler means, I don't know. But the technology is moving so fast now, and you get a lot of these startups that are being valuated straight off the bat at like $1 billion just for an idea.
There's Fireflies. They came out recently and said that they were just joining meetings themselves. They were like typing notes until they could afford to invest in AI to do it for them. I've not validated that, but I saw something about that they've come out in some form of podcast or talk and said that it was just him and his mate joining meetings and sending the notes after the meeting.
I think there was a tech company, an AI company in India that the name eludes me.
I saw that.
Where it's basically they had to admit it was actually real people behind the scenes coding away.
There he is. We need a close off bit, Tess.
Let's do one highlight of your work week.
As you know, Tom, we seem to be doing a lot of projects with AI and document extraction. So it seems to be something that's close to my heart, where it pains me when people are now having to look at documents on a daily basis and reconcile stuff, whether it be from a finance, any type of document. But we've got a couple of projects now that automate that, so saving users countless number of days. Reach out to Tess on this below email if you'd like a chat. But we're also kind of taking it a bit further with on the project we're at. So they deal with a lot of documents, different types of documents, and having that extracted, linked against the correct record, pushed to finance and operations as reconciled if it's an invoice. All of that gets my juices going, and I do really enjoy that. There is no reason nowadays, topic of this podcast, that someone should be sitting there for multiple hours a day looking at documents. That is definitely something we have been using, and you can get AI to do. And humans that you've employed, they should be analysts on that data, not people that need to extract data and copy and paste.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's nice to see more people thinking about doing it as well. It's like again, another bubble, but it took ages for people to identify that maybe something could be done in that space. And I think people are now really starting to think, well, actually, I really can't be bothered to photocopy this in.
Yeah. Just because someone's told you to do it doesn't mean it's right. Think
outside the box, Donna. What about you? I know exactly what your highlight of the week should be.
Oh, what?
Was it running related?
I'm going to give it to you. Yeah. Go on, what's your highlight, Tess?
Last week was the talk, and then this week I actually really enjoyed building the app and getting something together.
I think you should demo that to us, Tess, on one of those Fridays.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I think it'd be super open and welcome, and I think everyone would really love that.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe have a few more sessions, but yeah. No, I'm actually really enjoying it as well.
Good. Bad.
What did you think my highlight was going to be?
No, I was going to say that. I was going to say it must be, having such a good platform tutor.
Such a good mentor.
Yeah. Kunj, I can see you frowning there, even though you're a fit.
I'm smiling. There you go. The eyebrows aren't giving off properly. But Tess, you might find when you demo it and you get the applause, that's going to be a dopamine hit, and you'll be back for some more.
I got to spend the morning with Contoso, an organization that look after lots of organizations.
Oh, nice.
And on Wednesday, not giving away specifics, I got to spend it talking about, my highlight is because, let me reword that. My highlight is because it was really nice to see an organization so keen to adopt automation, process, AI, etc. Like super, super, super keen, way ahead of kind of other organizations in their vertical and sector. And it was just really, really reassuring to see that, that people are ready to explore these things for the benefit of saving their individuals, their employees' time. That was really cool.
I really seeing those projects coming through, Tom.
Oh, Kunj. Like, there's so much that can be done. I don't even know where to start, honest. A lot of data stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we are.
They didn't watch Traitors.
No, I didn't actually.
I saw your message last night about Mr. Marlowe, but I love Joe Marley. He's
He's
phenomenal.
so good.
Hilarious.
Does he not look like a certain somebody within the business?
It's like a combination of Jason Kieran.
Such a gentle giant. All three of them.
Yeah, it's very good. So have you finished watching it now then, have you?
Yeah, the finale yesterday, I was shocked.
Alan Carwin.
Supposed to test.
He's not what he's. Yeah.
We have to preface this area.
Yeah, let's hope everyone else. Thankfully, I said spoiler alert before you went for it, but there was not a long enough gap.
You could edit that out.
Yeah. Anyway, nice to speak to you both. I'm going to go.
Thanks.
Please invite me on again. I'd love to do this
Yeah.
more often.
It's been really nice, actually.
Ta-ra.
See you later.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Insert jingle here. Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Everyone.